She was 21 when she believed that life rewarded only those who worked hard. She had finished her diploma early and stepped into the workforce while most people still saw her as young, though she felt fully grown inside. Her days were divided between university lectures and long work shifts, mornings blending into evenings in a rhythm of ambition. She earned her driver's license, began learning a new language, and felt the quiet pride of someone building a future brick by brick with her own hands. Marriage was never part of her plan. She did not imagine herself as someone's bride waiting to be chosen. She imagined herself as a success story in progress. She was brown-skinned, and for most of her life, that fact had carried no weight. She grew up in a city where colors and dialects mixed easily, and no one had taught her to see herself as less. She loved her reflection. She wore her jilbab with confidence and walked with steady steps. She had memorized the Quran and tried to live with integrity, careful with her words and quick to hold herself accountable when she erred. She was not perfect, but she was sincere. When a colleague at work suggested her name to a well-established young engineer searching for a bride, she hesitated but did not refuse. The family spoke and a visit was arranged. On the day he came, she adjusted her hijab before the mirror, calming a simple nervousness. She expected nothing more than a respectful meeting, questions, answers, and destiny unfolding as it would. But when she entered the room, she heard a soft laugh and a whisper that was not quiet enough. "Look at your bride." His mother and aunt were smiling in a way that made something inside her tighten. He was fair, almost blonde. She was brown. For the first time in her life, she became aware of her skin as if it required justification. She felt a sharp sting, a sudden awareness that dignity can tremble in a single second. Still, she sat and spoke with composure. She asked about his prayers, his studies, his character. He answered politely. At the end, he asked for her number, and in the confusion of the moment, she gave it. After they left, she told her family she did not want to continue. They informed his side, and she believed the matter had ended. A week later, her phone rang. It was him. He had learned of the refusal and asked why. She tried to dismiss it gently, but he surprised her with blunt honesty. His family did not want her, yet he did. He claimed he had loved her from the first moment and would never marry anyone else. He only needed time to convince his mother. Part of her felt insulted, another part softened at his insistence. He called again and again, promised persistence, promised certainty. Slowly, against her better judgment, her heart yielded. She told him to try again, and so began 5 suspended years. During those 5 years, she continued to rise. She completed her bachelor's degree, then her master's. Her language skills improved, her career stabilized. Suitors came and were refused. She told herself that leaving him would mean betraying his supposed sacrifice. Though nothing official bound them, she remained loyal to a promise that lived only in words. She justified the grayness of their connection, telling herself that time was all they needed. Yet time kept passing, and a quiet question began echoing inside her. Until when? Then the change came. The calls grew shorter, the warmth faded. She became the one reaching out. One Thursday evening, she called him, and he mentioned casually that he had been shopping for clothes. She congratulated him lightly. He laughed and asked why she had not asked for what. "For my engagement tomorrow," he said. In that instant, the old laughter from the first meeting returned to her ears. He was engaged to his cousin, fair like him. 5 years collapsed into a single, careless sentence. The pain was not only his betrayal, but her own. She questioned how she had allowed herself to remain suspended, how she had ignored the first sting of humiliation, how she had mistaken waiting for virtue. She wondered whether he had once meant his promises, or whether she had built a story from fragments. What hurt most was the shift inside her, the way she began to look at herself with harsher eyes, the way hesitation replaced confidence when new suitors appeared. The wound was not simply a failed love, it was a fracture in trust. Yet even in the aftermath, she remained herself. Still the brown-skinned woman who once loved her reflection. Still the woman who had memorized the Quran and tried to be sincere before God and people alike. Perhaps she had been naive. Perhaps she had erred in accepting a bond without clarity. But she had not been malicious. She had believed in a promise. Now, at 28, she sees those 5 years not as pure loss, but a stern lesson. She learned that the one who truly wants you does not leave you suspended between your mother's approval and your dignity. She learned that the first sign of disrespect should never be dismissed. And she learned that love that requires you to hide yourself or wait indefinitely is not love worthy of you. She may have bent under the weight of it, but she did not break. She was never less because she was brown. She was never an incomplete choice. She was and remains whole, worthy of being chosen clearly, not kept waiting by a promise that was never meant to be fulfilled.